Thank you, Herschel. Tonight we have three powerful women who we'd like to join us on stage along with family members from Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund. Samantha Pylo, Courtney Hum, and Liz Nicholson Sullivan. Liz will lead the Fund in Need portion of our program tonight. Ladies, please come to the stage.
Tissues. I'm Samantha Pylo, and at this time I'd like to invite the women in the room who are wives, daughters, and caretakers of our veterans and athletes to stand and join us on the stage. We'd like to take a moment to honor you. If you would make your way up, please. Here's the crew. My father was Mike Pylo, who played center for the Chicago Bears in the 1960s with Coach Ditka. When he retired after 9 seasons, we expected a future filled with orthopedic issues and joint replacements. We did not expect to end up spending decades battling a progressing brain injury, alone and in fear, until he finally passed away with stage 4 CTE. We were often ashamed of what was happening in our home, and we certainly didn't want to talk to anybody about it. The disturbing behaviors that he was exhibiting at home, his isolation, his anger, his rage. So as my dad drew further and further into himself, we isolated ourselves as well. It wasn't until the last couple years of his life that we started to share our private experiences with a few trusted others, and then a few more. And what happened was we learned that we weren't the only ones, that there were many other families from the NFL community dealing with the same challenges as we were. As we were gaining this knowledge, so were Gridiron Greats and After the Impact. While they were busy assisting veterans and retired professional athletes, they were discovering the same thing. For every veteran or athlete in dire need of help, there was a caretaker, usually a spouse or a daughter, desperately trying to hold their lives together, to find support and navigate through the labyrinth of resources and benefits available to their spouse or father. They recognized the great need to create a space where women could find all of the information they needed to seek out care for their loved one and themselves in one online location, that it was crucial for wives and daughters to have a safe environment to share their personal stories without judgment or fear of exposing their family's private struggles, a place where they would finally know that they are not alone, that there are other families who have experienced or were experiencing the same problems and setbacks that they were, and that there were other women out there who truly understand and are ready to reach out to help and lift them up, or right now are in desperate need of being lifted up themselves. And so they created the Family Impact Forum. Ooh, sorry, very nervous. My family had nothing of its kind when we were figuring out how to cope with my dad's illness. We fought to find our own way through each new turn that his life after football had in store for us. Gridiron Greats and After the Impact have created a game changer with their family forum. And it is so important that we be able to continue to fund and expand our programs. It is imperative that we meet the needs of our veterans and our retired athletes and their families, so that the caretakers on this stage never feel isolated or ashamed again. I am so honored to be a part of this sisterhood, where I have met some of the most courageous, loving, and inspirational women that I am lucky enough to call peers and friends. I feel so blessed to be able to take a terrible time in our family's life and try to use what we learned to help others, and to have a place where I can learn from or cry on the shoulder of, and believe me, I have, someone else who truly understands our community. Most of all, I am forever grateful for the opportunity to have landed with my dad's dear friend, whom I've known all my life, Mike Ditka. It is not lost on me that in life, you end up where you're supposed to be. My dad was the ultimate team member who always went out of his way to do for others. It makes me smile to think that he probably had a little something to do with the fact that Shannon Jordan, who I didn't even know at the time, was one of the first phone calls that I received on the day that he died, eventually giving me an opportunity to join Coach's team, where I know my dad would want me to be, where I can be a part of something bigger than what we went through, show my dad that all was not lost, hopefully make him proud, and carry on his legacy. Thank you, and I love and appreciate every single one of you. At this time, it is my honor to introduce to you the daughter of David Hum, Courtney.
Oh, you can leave out there. I'm normally standing behind the wheelchairs, so I don't have to be talking. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for their love and support. I've written this speech like 100 times, and now I have no recollection of what I was going to say at all. But my dad was always my most important person in my life, and I can sit here and talk your ear off about how much I love him and how much he means to me. And I love that everyone shares my love for, not as much as I love him, but my dad, sorry. I have to thank the Raiders, Mark Davis, Mark Bedane, and I know you guys hate to be thanked, so I have to do it up here. Cheryl Nichols, you guys have always been there for my dad and me, and especially when he got sick. That's when you guys really rallied, and I never realized how much I was a part of the family, and so I want to say thank you. I think that sometimes he loved the Raiders more than he loved me. But you guys was part of the reason my dad stayed alive as long as he did. So thank you very much. And with my dad getting sick, there at the very end, he kept such a strong front that he never let anyone know how bad it really was getting. And I didn't want to take that away from him, and so I didn't really know what to do. And Gridiron Greats not only helped my dad when we were going through struggles and helped him with our health insurance because it was almost $1,000 a month. They helped with Medicare, medical costs, and just he doesn't like to ask for help. And I know that you guys made it a lot easier, and he fell in love with you guys, and I thank you for Gridiron Greats for after the impact is started around the time that my dad was getting sick, and I don't like to ask for help either, but I got invited to the forum, and I was like, I don't know why I was invited to the forum. I'm not like a caretaker, and they pointed out to me that I was and helped me find resources for my dad and support for me throughout the entire thing, calling me, making sure that I was okay, not just like my father, making sure that the list goes on, and my dad loved to help people, so, and so I'm extremely honored that you guys reached out to me for the opportunity to honor my father by saying words and hopefully helping with sharing my story on how impactful you guys really are, because with it being, if you don't want anyone to know that you need help, then they are just there. And it's this bond, this instant family that you don't get very often. And they would stay, Shannon and Sam stayed up till midnight one night with me when I had to make some hard decisions and I didn't know who else to turn to, and I just will forever be thankful for you guys. And I want to honor my dad for the rest of my life, and I know that. Okay. Sorry.
You're good.
So I'm going to say thank you.
Round of applause for all the females and the ladies and the wives and daughters and caretakers.